Hello and welcome to this week's episode of My CP Does Not Define Me, where we focus less on the depth and more on the ability of what we can do. Join us each and every Wednesday at 7 p.m. Eastern Time, live on the Disability Global Broadcast, Facebook Live, and LetGoRadio.net. Looking forward to seeing you there.
What's up, party people? It is D to the J with a roll away, and I am sorry I am late, but I am here. It is another Wednesday, 7:15, about 14 and a half minutes late. Thank you to Kayla for the reminder about the show. I was in the middle of scanning documents for another upcoming SSI appeal that we have to file now, and I lost track of time. I've been working on it since about 4:30, and and Kim goes, "Hey babe, your show," and I go, "Oh crap." She goes, "Kayla reminded me," and I'm like, "Thank you, Kayla." And then I typed up the stuff, pulled everything up, and here I am. So, what is today's show going to be about? Well, I went ahead and I titled it "To the Edge and Back Again." Now, everybody in the entire world starts off as a delicate little flower. You've got all these different type of people in the world. Some are super extremely happy people. Some are offended people. Some are delicate people. Some are not so delicate. Some will snap off at the blink of an eye. Some will pick up a desk and throw it across the room at the slightest nudge of a problem. But what to do when you reach that edge and how to get back from it, how to know where you are, have you truly reached your breaking point? Because, people will say and do things to annoy the ever loving bejesus out of you because they can. There are haters out there and trollers on Facebook and YouTube that will tell you should change the name of your show because you're talking about child porn when you're not. My CP does not define me. It's cerebral palsy. All you've got to do is read the description. They will tell you that your show is about something when it's not without even looking at a video because they think they know everything. And based on a title of what they see, or based on what they see, they go from that. Now, parents will tell you things that may annoy you, but usually they're trying to push you in the right direction. My mother and I were just having a discussion here briefly not too long ago about wanting not to see me get to a point where I cannot fend for myself. I completely understand where she's coming from. Do I necessarily agree with it? No, I don't have to, but that's okay. I still see where she's coming from and what she's talking about. Hey, Thomas, how are you? So we're looking at something am I mad about it? No, I'm not necessarily mad about it. It's when you have situations, and here's where the world gets kind of funny. You've got you've got all these things that you deal with. You got social security, you got bills, you got rent. If you've got kids you've got to worry about. You got to get dinner on the table. You have all these things that pressure you, okay? And you have all these things that you have to do. The list goes on and on and on and on and on. And all of these things have to be done in a certain time frame, but you've only got 24 hours in the day. So you've got to eat, you've got to maintain. Did you pay bills today? Did you mail off what you need to mail off? Did you pay your toll? Did you go for a walk? Did you take the dog out? Did you? No, I didn't go for a walk. I didn't feel like it. Okay, went for a roll, but that's another story. So you've got all these things, and you've got a list, that to-do list. I got to take out the trash. I gotta clean the floor. My refrigerator's dirty. Can I put it off till tomorrow? And all of these things start to ball up, and it doesn't become a list. Then it becomes, oh God, I've got to do this. I've got to clean the litter box. I've got to this, that, and the other. A couple of comments that came in. Kayla said Kayla said this. Let's get Kayla's pulled up here. I felt bad. I don't want to pressure you. I know how complex the balance is as a host. So much more. It is, Kayla, but literally, I missed last week, and it was because that was Valentine's Day, and I was trying to spend it with my fiance and my mom. And Daniel, thank you for that. Hope your family is doing well as well. Life is complex. That is very, very true, Kayla. This is kind of where we're getting to that end point where we look at it and how do we deal with when we're out of energy? How do we deal with the I can't take anymore? Hi, Charity. How are you? Charity says this. Mine tell me to apply for disability repeatedly, knowing the government says my CP hasn't disabled me enough. All right, so let's go ahead and hit the disability question. All right, here's the thing. Disability is designed to tell you that you don't qualify. That's what they do. You have to be prepared when you first apply to automatically get the no. And the second time you get the no, no matter, even if you have the documentation, you have to fight to a point. It is hard. We just got everything fixed with Kim's account, and now they've turned around and stopped it again because of issues. Now, I'm not going to go into that and what we're fighting about, but Social Security will find reasons to stop your benefits, to stop your insurance, to stop anything they can, because they say that they want people to work. What they want to do, in my opinion, is stifle people. And you've got to be careful, because then they're going to make you not want to apply and then push yourself to something that you may not be ready for. Not saying that you can't work or not saying that you shouldn't, but you've got to be careful, because even when on disability, if you work part-time and you don't watch your hours, you can get yourself in a lot of trouble. Exactly, Daniel. Be prepared to appeal and follow up. That is the way Social Security works. You have to bug, excuse my French, the ever-loving shit out of them, because if you do stuff over the phone, it does not happen most of the time. Now, there are some that do their job, but most of them are there to tell you, I've done this, I've done this, I've done this. Let me tell you, get copies of everything that you put in, look at it, make sure it's dated, make sure it's stamped, and have an attorney, legal aid on standby. You need to have, Kim and I were just talking about it. She's so frustrated because this happens and this happens and this happens. And then what do? You handle it. You handle it just like stepping up to the plate. They throw the ball across the plate and bam, you bat one to left field. Bam, you bat one to right field. Bam, you bat one to center field, but then you strike out. And you step back for a minute and you go, okay, all right, let's look at the issue. All right, here's where I've got to go. Okay, I got to pay rent. Is rent paid? Is electric paid? Is cable paid? Cable's a necessity. Do I need this? My mom and I were talking about it the other day. What things can you get rid of? Do you have a lot of excess? Do you have a lot of video game systems? How much stuff do you rent? How much stuff do you rent to buy? Rent to buy is good if you have the money and you can pay it off 60 days, same as cash. If you don't have the money and you can't pay it off 60 days, same as cash, you're going to stretch it out and pay a whole hell of a lot more than you need to. Now, here's Kaylin's here. I hate the disability question, like how my sticker expires in September. I think the world needs to realize, and this is what disability needs to realize, our disabilities don't expire. We as people have to realize, and we have to fight, and we have to let them know with doctor's notes. And your doctors can follow up with disability and help you. These disabilities don't expire. And understand, the people at disability only know what you tell them, okay? They have a job that they have to do, and they stamp out letters, and they stamp out this, and this stops, and this goes here, and this goes here. And they do their job just like little worker ants going back and forth into the anthill. And you go, why do I get these stupid letters? And now all of a sudden you're going to stop. I don't understand. They have strict rules that they have to go by, just like we do, okay? It is a pain in the butt, and it's hard to do, but life is hard, and you got to fight through it. Now, here's the thing. When you get frustrated, when you get upset, and people get upset around you that are dealing with disability issues, that are dealing with appeals, that are dealing with letters, sometimes you have to go into a little room that's dark and quiet and close the door and scream at the top of your lungs. You got to get all that crap out that you're dealing with, because if you hold it in and you don't deal with it and you just build it and build it and build it and build it and build it, it's going to come out at the wrong person and at the wrong time. And that's when you're going to get in trouble. It's because the use of our, it's because people use our stickers after we, and the problem is that's the people that take advantage of the system. We're talking about two different types of people. There are people that abide by the system, and then there are bad apples of the world that take advantage. When that disabled sticker is for John Doe, that disabled sticker is for John Doe only. You don't take that sticker and use it for Sally, somebody over here, and Peter, somebody over here, because they're disabled too. If you're disabled too, go in there and get you one. Now, if you're with your grandparents and it's your sticker, then yes, you take it to that car because it is entitled to you. That's the difference. Reach out to your city and state officials. They can help you. Daniel, well put. There is a DSB in every city, a Disability Service Board, and there are different avenues that you can go, such as legal aid, such as your state housing authority. You can look up online and read, and you can get legal advice. You are allowed to get legal advice. Don't just threaten people with lawyers, but get legal advice. Listen, you threaten somebody in disability, I'm going to tell you what you do. You freeze your account. Okay, you threaten somebody and you say, I'm going to do this. I'm pissed because you did this to me, blah, 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 blah. You're going to get yourself in trouble. You're going to say the wrong thing, and you're going to fire somebody off. It's black, it's white, it's this, they get this, we get this, you get somebody else mad, and all you do is turn around and cause a bigger problem than there already is. This world is bad enough with racism. We got to stop slurring everything and throwing everything against everybody else. We need to worry about what we can control. We need to worry about what we can do as people and start seeing people as persons and individuals, and not just say they get this because of the color of the skin, or they get this because of this nationality, or we get this because we're disabled. Listen, all that's got to stop. Okay, everybody's got their own individual case. You've got to work at your own individual case and your own individual pace. Hey, Siobhan, how you doing? Charity, that's true. I never thought about that. There are a lot of options that you can go. The city officials will help you. Perfect example why I like my doctors under the same hospital. It's so much easier rather than repeating everything at every appointment. Now, here we go, kind of getting off topic a little bit, but that's okay. When you're dealing with medical professionals, okay, if you have the medical professionals under one roof, such as your hospitals, hospital you worked at, King's Daughters, you have all of these specialists, right? You've got the Shriners, you've got King's Daughters, you've got St. Jude, you've got all of these different doctors under one roof, okay? But you've got people trying to, now when you work with someone with a disability, if your doctor doesn't know about your disability, it's going to make things difficult. And you need to have a neurologist on call. When you deal with cerebral palsy, you need to have a neurologist on call, because it is a neurological condition that can infect or affect the entire body. And I want to go over this live while we got enough people on here. Listen, I've said this 100 times, and we're talking about going to the edge and back, and this pisses me off more than anything else. If my mom has me and I have disability, okay, I have a disability, I have cerebral palsy, I meet me a nice girlfriend, I get engaged, fiance, get married, and we have kids. That does not mean that my children or her children are going to have cerebral palsy because we have it. Do not let a doctor tell you that it is genetic, because it is not. It is an effect of the brain that causes brain damage during or after birth. Most most infants are not diagnosed until the year and a half to 2 year age range, depending on the severity of the CP. CP can affect all types of things in the body: the tongue, swallowing, talking, vision, eye movement, muscle movement, pattern breaking. When I was born, I would lift one arm up, and the rest of my arms and legs would come up at the same time. So my mom and Miss D and my grandparents would take time working one arm and one leg and one arm and one leg and back and forth and up and down so that you could break the pattern. So here's here. Now there are some stickers that do not expire. So Thomas, you're one of the lucky ones that has a handicap sticker that does not expire. I'm not sure if you can get those in every state or not. That may be something to research. If you have a link to where you could do that, put that in the comments below, and those of us walking, or excuse me, those of us watching the show, uh, watching the show can go there and get the sticker that we need. This is a good. Whenever a doctor tells a person that cerebral palsy is genetic and hereditary, it's wrong. That is one of the first things I learned as a child. Now, muscular dystrophy is different, and it is amazing how people can confuse the two. That is a big, big point, Siobhan. Again, Siobhan has been on my show probably 50 times. I've had her up here numerous times. She is a bodybuilder. She has CP. She was raised to do things for herself, to fight for herself, to fend for herself. Now, that doesn't mean that her parents don't care about her or her parents didn't care about her. It's the way we work. It's the way we are. You need a new, let's see. Let me go back. Kayla said, you need a new one. Someone I know that's got back feed. Run that again, Kayla, because I'm not sure if you're saying in reference to the doctor again or not. Christina, this is a big comment here. We do have to do a list every day, but when we're stressed about getting it all done, it's important to break things down into smaller tasks in order not to fatigue ourselves, one thing at a time. We have to be careful with CP because it can change from day to day. Now, let me explain another myth here, since we're talking about a couple things with CP too. And this will drive a person to the brink of punching somebody in the mouth. Somebody says to me, CP does not get worse. Understand, any medical condition, if you don't treat it at the root of the problem, will get worse. MS will get worse. CP will get worse. Spina bifida will get worse, mainly because, myself included, now luckily I have martial arts and I use that quite frequently, people don't stretch. It is important, and Christina can tell you, being a teacher and working with high school kids and having to walk on crutches. Christina's one of the rarities with CP, being able to walk on crutches with CP. I used to do it too. You lose it. My mom, again, was just talking about, if you don't use it, you lose it. But the thing about it is, our ability to stretch our muscles will get tighter and tighter and tighter. It depends on the weather. It depends on the atmosphere. Sometimes it depends on if a bird farts in the wind the wrong way, how our muscles tighten up, because we have spastic CP. We jump back when we see something. When we jump back when we see something, it tightens the muscle. You have to stop because you have what's called colonus, where your muscles will do this type of thing and they won't stop shaking for a period of time. It takes time and a therapist that knows how to stretch you, and one with stretching it, a little bit of pain is okay, but you don't want to hurt too much, because if you pull a muscle and you don't let your muscles rest, this is kind of what Christina was talking about. Break it down into smaller pieces, break it down into smaller tasks to where you're not trying to do too much at one time. Man, we're 19 minutes into the show already, and we're hitting a lot of topics here. Siobhan, I love this. I love this right here. Every case is different. I'm not sure if you said this already, DJ, but we do have to work our muscles because it's just like everything else. If we don't, they will atrophy. And for those of us with cerebral palsy, working those areas means we have to work them 2 and 3 times harder as a normal person. And that's kind of what I was getting into. My mother made me go to therapy in school and also until I was 18 because she knew that the end benefits would better me as a person, uh, to be better as a person. And I had therapy 2 to 3 times a week, and we had to stretch them. And I had serial casting, and I had arm casting, and I had hamstring releases, and I had heel cord releases, and I had this surgery and that surgery. Now, luckily, I haven't had 50 of them, but there are some people out there that have had 50 and 60 surgeries. And, I'm on baclofen and different medications to help with my muscle spasms and things like that, which does work. But again, you've got to watch the medications. You've got to get your kidneys tested. You've got to make sure that you stay on top of what you eat, how much you eat, when you eat. After 7 o'clock, the body stores everything to fat. It stops processing food normally. After 7 o'clock, the body shuts everything down and everything goes into store for fat, store for fat, store for fat. When we first start burning calories, everything that we burn is going to be substantial because of how much fat is on our bodies. If we don't move, we're going to get stiff. And stiffness is one of the worst cases in any part of CP. When you get stiff, you get arthritis, bursitis, tendonitis, swelling of the joints, fluid buildup. You got to watch out for neuropathy. You got to move your feet. You got to transfer. You got to do pressure lifts. Pressure lifts are so key to cerebral palsy. I used to sit in a chair hours a day, but my mom would say, "Hey, DJ, lift up a little bit. Do this kind of thing here. Move your butt around so your butt doesn't fall asleep. You fart, you fart. The next person beside you is going to pay for it. You're going to be all right." So we're gonna take it there. Yeah, I've been back in PT 4 years after not taking care of myself. Now this is what I'm talking about. Christina's being very honest. Yeah, I've been back in PT 4 years now after not taking care of myself for a while. It takes time, consistently, and patience to make progress. Got to get through it though. Got to keep it up. The thing about Christina is, I remember when her journey, when she came into to our cerebral palsy group that we have. We have a cerebral palsy group that I manage and I run every other Friday. And Christina, she got into weightlifting because she was struggling with falling and things like that, and she just wasn't happy where she was. And it was one of those things where Christina shared her story several times, and so has Kyle Russo, one of my buddies. It's also in the cerebral palsy group that we have. And it's amazing the story that Christina shares because Christina has guns of steel now. She weightlifts and does, all these things, and she's walking straighter and she's using different crutches. She was using 2 crutches and now she's using 1. So you see the progress. And here's going back to the show. When you get to the edge, and I've said this before, people remember, always appreciate your little things. Always appreciate the things that you do when you make an accomplishment. I did not learn to tie my shoes until I was 10 years old. It took me 10 years to learn to tie my shoes. You have to celebrate what people call those little things because they're not such little things to us. How to hold a spoon, how to turn a spoon over for the first time and get your Cheerios up on the spoon without whacking them son of a guns the other way and ending up on the floor and your mom getting mad because she's got to clean them up 12 times. It's one of those things. It's coordination. You got to look at life as the way it is, okay? And I want to go into this stereotype, okay? The cold weather makes my muscles even tighter. I said earlier, when you go out into cold weather or before you go out into cold weather, one thing with martial arts taught me: controlled breathing. When we get like this and we hold that breath, and we get all tight like this, and everything's up here, and we're holding on because we're not breathing, not getting that air, sounding like Donald Duck got a helium tank up his butt somewhere, trying to figure out what's going on. We're not breathing, and oxygen is not getting to the rest of our body. We're going to have serious problems. Okay. You've got to learn to do controlled breathing from your diaphragm throughout your whole body to let your muscles get the oxygen they need. Um, I like this too here, Kayla. I recommend everyone with CP request blood work and the annual exam, 3 years of yearly blood work. I'm getting treated for iron and a vitamin D deficiency, and I wouldn't have known as the symptoms of tiredness and hard to determine due to CP. Now, some of the medications that you use can affect your vitamin D levels. Dantrolene, I know, is one. I'm not sure with iron. I'm kind of looked over at my mom. She's a nurse. I know. Uh, I'm not sure of any medications offhand that would cause an iron deficiency as far as CP is concerned. But Kayla is correct. Blood work, and I know a lot of, I hate needles. I hate them. I can handle them, but I hate them. Getting blood work, I don't like to do, but I've learned over the years you have to do it because it's so important to make sure that those vitamin levels are efficient. Also, a multivitamin every day for young adults, middle-aged adults, and then over 50. It is very important that you drink plenty of water and that you also take a multivitamin. I am a soda drinker. Now, one of the things that I do, and I don't mean do as in, but I mean one of the things that I do is I drink a lot of Mio. Now, Mio, you have to be careful and watch your sugar intake because soda over time you can lose 20 pounds of water weight per year as not drinking soda. And the clear soda is a lot better than the darker soda. Also, diet soda is better for you, but you have to watch out for all the stuff they put in sweet and lows. Saccharin, I think it is. But anyway, I'm so awful about remembering my vitamins, but somehow I remember to take everything else. One of the things that helps me is I have one of those little pill organizers that I can drop my pills in up to 2 weeks in advance, and I make a machine now, and you can get a written prescription for it. If you take a lot of meds, it will disperse your medications for you automatically. It's a machine that does it. So if you have vitamins, be sure to take your vitamins in the morning. It is very important to take your vitamins in the morning because what they're going to do is they're going to go throughout the day with the nourishment that you put into your body, and they're going to act off that nourishment instead of waiting to take your vitamins before you go to bed. You want to take your vitamins early in the morning, and you also want to eat something with those vitamins because if you don't, they can cause nausea, vomiting, and I know they can make your stomach a little bit upset in that area. Also, do follow-up blood work if treated as recommended or required by your physician. That is very important, and people put going off to the doctor when they're sick. Okay, I go to the doctor about every 90 days. And the reason that I go to my doctor is because my health insurance requires it. And I asked the doctor one time, I said, Dr. House, how come I have to come here every 6 weeks to 90 days? And she said this: if we want to catch something or if something happens to you, we want to catch it early enough that we can treat it. No, you're not 75 years old and elderly. But if you start to develop neuropathy with CP or angioplasty or bursitis or tendonitis, we want to catch it because sitting in a chair when you are wheelchair bound and you use a chair a lot and you don't get the movement that you need, you can develop a lot of bone density and issues with your bones. So we want to make sure that we do the right type of test and we get you where you need to be. So don't think of going to the doctor as a chore. Think of going to the doctor as I'm doing something to better myself at the end of the day. Do you know who lives the longest? Hypochondriacs. I've got something wrong with me because the first thing they do when they get upset or sick is they run to their doctor. Oh my God, I've got cancer. Oh my God, my leg's gonna fall off. Oh my God, I don't have a kidney. What in the world? You've got to go through all this stuff, but yet they go to the doctor and the doctor tells them, no, you're fine, and they end up living the longest. Stop trying to be Superman and push everything to a level where then it's too late and then you don't get checked and you wind up with leukemia or cancer or something that's irreversible. Because I'm going to tell you, cancer is no joke. It doesn't care if you're little, it doesn't care if you're big, it doesn't care if you're old, it doesn't care if you're young. This thing, and talking about medical stuff, that will push you over the edge. Medical stuff will push you over the edge faster than a fart from your cat in the litter box. I'm telling you right now, it literally is one of those things where it's almost like you didn't see it coming, and make sure that you talk with your physicians. Make sure that you're honest with them about how much you eat, how much you drink, how much you weigh, how you're really feeling. Depression is one of the most common things that people suffer from with cerebral palsy. And they don't tell people how they're feeling because they get the mentality of, I don't want to tell somebody else my problems. I want to deal with them myself. Sometimes you've got to get past that and you've got to say, listen, if I'm feeling really bad and I don't know why, and I'm sleeping all the time and I'm not getting up the way I should, and I feel like my mom confided in me the other day. She said, please, DJ, get tested for sleep apnea. And I said, Mom, I hate wearing the mask. I don't want to wear the mask. And she said, listen, I don't want to lose you. She said, they can test you now from and do this and get the one through the nose to where you don't. I said, okay, Mom, I'll go get tested. So you've gotta better your health. You think that parents try to tell you something. Okay, great questions. I eat everything. Why do I need vitamins? Vitamins give us things that food doesn't. Okay. If we don't eat enough fruit and vegetables or we don't eat enough grain, our bodies will become vitamin deficient. And you can get vitamin deficient over a time, even if you eat the right kind of foods. So eating the right kind of foods and eating healthy is great, but sometimes you need more, like kale and barley and different types of strawberries and peaches. But you've got to watch the sugar intake from all of that. Also, vitamins are going to put things in your body like your omega-3s and some of the fatty acids, the acids that you don't get from fatty acids, that you don't get from other foods. And you've got to look at what you're doing and make sure that you're getting the right intake. That is why it's important to get your vitamins and your levels checked. Christina, great point. Sometimes our bodies don't absorb enough wow, now I'm starting to see words. Sometimes our bodies don't absorb enough vitamins from our food. Supplements help. All right, great point here, Siobhan, right here. Hey, although I may make cerebral palsy look like a breeze, there are days when it gets on my nerves. Muscle spasms are no joke, and I do have them on occasion. But you've got to keep fighting. Remember, we're meant to be here. Now, one thing about Siobhan's mentality, and I've talked about this before, she has days where it's hard. Okay. We all have days where it's hard. And this is where I'm talking about, what do we do when we get to the end? What do we do when we feel like we're at the edge and we can't go any further? Siobhan, when she has a problem, will pick up the phone. She will call me at 4:30 in the morning. She will call me at 9 at night. She will call me at 5 in the morning. She will call me at 6 in the morning. It doesn't matter. Usually when that phone rings and I see that it's her, I will pick up the phone because there are people that are in our lives that are there for us as our mentors, as our guiders, as our guidance, to be able to say, okay, try this. Sometimes people just need to vent. Sometimes people need somebody to talk to. And all you need to do is listen. You don't really have to say anything. That's the greatest thing about the group that we have. And Siobhan being in my life, I can call her with a problem if I'm upset, and she knows when I'm upset. She can tell. And she actually, about a month ago, she jumped on the show because I was talking about a touchy subject. And she got up here and she said a lot of things that made a lot of sense. But again, it put me back in the right mind frame that I needed to be. And sometimes that's the issue that we have. It's the mind frame. Our mind will play tricks on us before we ever get anywhere. We are our worst critics among ourselves. We battle ourselves harder than everybody else in the outside world because we condition ourselves that we have to be something or we have to look a certain way. I love my mom to death, but she's the same way. My mom doesn't have cerebral palsy. My mom says, I hate my hair. I hate the way I look. I hate this. I hate that. And I turn around and say, Mom, you look great. It is not about what I see. It's what the person sees when they look in the mirror and how their life affects them. Christina, again, we have to support each other. Sometimes all it takes is the right person to get us back on track. Talking about that, I know when Christina was struggling with her journey in the first or second year she was in there and she was struggling, she would call me and there would be days that she would just bawl because she couldn't take it anymore because she kept falling. Why do I keep falling? Why do I keep hurting myself? What am I doing wrong? I can't figure this out. And you've got to take a minute and let them get that out and then look at each item and say, okay, have you tried this? Have you tried that? And sometimes it's not even that. It's, hey, I love you. I'm there for you. I'll be there for you. What do you need? Tell me what I can do to make you feel better. Sometimes it's just a hug in the right direction, a phone call, a letter. Sometimes you watch a movie with somebody and watch it over Skype or just be with the person, talk to them for an hour. A conversation with the person and females in general, and I'm not trying to be disrespectful here, but females scrutinize themselves. They think they have to look like Barbie dolls to look good. I'm not much on Barbie dolls. I don't like that plastic complexion. I like a woman with a little bit of meat on her bones, a smart woman that knows what she's doing, knows how to act, knows where to go, and has got her shit together. And I don't mean to say that most, that women don't have their stuff together, but I told Christina a long time ago, I said, I never figure out how you have your stuff together and everybody else is sitting over here struggling, trying to figure it out. And a lot of times she would tell me, DJ, it's not that I have my stuff together. It's I know what I want. When a woman knows what she wants and she knows how to go for it, that's going to make it better for her journey. Okay. And remember that each person's journey with what they have is their own. No person's journey is the same. You can say, I can relate to that, but unless you've really been through it, you can't. You can break your leg and you can sit in a chair and say, oh, I've been in a wheelchair before, but that's not the same thing as having CP. You can't sit there when you're in a car accident and you lose your arm after 20 years of having your arm, and then life throws you a curveball and you've got to learn to use your right arm instead of your left, which is your dominant side. Nobody else can relate to that unless they've been through it. You can break your arm as many times as you want, but a break is different than having a disability or being in a chair more than, an hour a day. You have the option to get up. When I got to go to the bathroom, I got to get up, but I got to position myself. I got to move my footrest, unbutton my pants, shift over this way. Is my foot in the right direction? Am I going to break that sucker off? I'm going to tell you, again, Christina's starting to really hit some great points here. She's been doing it all night. Sometimes we just go through different phases of difficulty, but I try to remember to just, it's a temporary challenge. It'll all work out. We're going to have those temporary setbacks. We're going to have those moments where we go, okay, this isn't working. Okay. That doesn't mean that we're done with it. Sometimes, and Siobhan said this last week, sometimes you've got to step back and approach it in a day or so. Put it on the shelf and leave it there and let it sit for a little bit. Don't abandon it. Just take a break. I was sitting there getting documents in the freaking scanner, and Marshall was sitting there getting documents in the scanner, and now I'm going through my show, and these comments are popping up left and right, and I feel better because I took a break from that mundane. Hit the button, scan the button, type the thing in. Hit the button, scan the button, type the thing in. You do that 54 times, you're going to be tired. Oh, man. My left, let's see. Has anyone seen the movie My Left Foot? It's all about someone with CP. No, I can't say I have heard of that one, but I'll check it out. Siobhan right here. And for those of us who were born with our disabilities, it's a way of life for us. Those people who have acquired those disabilities later in life, the transition is different. Yes, it is very different because they knew what it was like to use their legs. They knew what it was like from going to the bathroom from point A to point B on their legs. And then it changed. You talk about an inspirational person that I love very much, Shana Thomas. She had, her daughters, and then Colin, and then, polymyositis hit her, and polymyositis has knocked her for a loop. We have transitioned together. I've helped her with some stuff, some lawyer stuff, and where to go and how to get this. And she has turned around and done the same thing for me. I do want to say this, guys, and I want to say this before I get off of the air for those of you that are up here, and I'm not trying to promote, but I do have several YouTube channels, and if you're looking for something to do, or if you're looking for some fun, I have a gaming channel called Chairmaster Games. Feel free to go and check it out on YouTube. You can subscribe. My CP Does Not Define Me is every Wednesday at 7 o'clock. I have several subscribers on there, but if you haven't subscribed and you're new to the show, please go subscribe. I can use all the support I can get. Now, the other thing is, an incident at birth is totally different than an incident later in life. Okay, I want to comment on that to a point. We are used to it. Okay, Siobhan talked about it. It's a way of life for us. It's as we are. We don't know any different because we haven't had it any different. So that is how the incident is different. But I want people to don't label me as the guy in the wheelchair or DJ, the guy in the chair. No. DJ. I know who I am and I know who you are. Stop labeling me. We need to stop labeling each other and get away from that. And I said before, we need to look at each other as people and start using the references and prefixes of people and not the person that walks on the crutches or the person that with the one arm or the black guy with the mohawk or the white guy with the freckles or the Asian guy with the snot on his forehead and the one eyebrow. Don't do that. Get into a person's name. When you see a disabled person on the side of the road or the side of the street, it's okay to say hi. Don't worry about having to have the greatest conversation in the world with them. Sometimes they want to say hi, and sometimes they don't. Not everybody has to like you. Not everybody's going to like you. Life is going to be like that. You're going to have those people that get on your nerves every damn day, and to the point where you run them over and they don't get on your nerves no more. Point transition, point taken, point done. I'm being totally honest. I'm a type of person, I will like everybody if you give me the chance, but I can also hate with the best of them. I am not worried about whether you think I'm pretty or not. I'm not worried about whether you like me or not. All I'm worried about is when you're in my domain and you're in my space, that you respect my time and you respect what I say. You don't have to like it. You don't have to agree with it. That means you can go away and walk whatever way you want to. I ain't going to be mad at you because you got to live your life too and go on with it. Now, let me say this, and I want to take this last 15 minutes to mention something very important, because when you're on the edge and when you're angry, a lot of us will say things we don't mean. And sometimes we say it to the ones we love. Be careful what you say. Be careful with the words that you use to your parents. I don't care if they adopted you. I don't care if they're your biological parents, your biological and mother and father. You only get one. I literally, my mother, I could not imagine losing my mother at the age she is now. I know people that have lost their mom and would give anything to have her back. Lena Avalos is one of the most amazing people that I know. She's in our group as well. She lost her mom 5 years ago, and it rocked her world financially, spiritually, emotionally. It rocked her world in every way that it could. And when she lost her mom, it rattled her inside. She had to learn to be independent and how to stand tall like a giraffe. She had to learn how to live with herself and by herself. And her mom never stops watching over her. It's just different. I could not imagine losing my mom at the age she is now. The one thing that many things that I'm grateful for my mom is she's never put me down or made me feel small or said, my son is not worth this or can't do this. She always lifts me up and says, you can do anything you want to do as long as you put your mind to it. But I want to see you succeed. My mom's an uplifter. She doesn't bring you down. She doesn't sit there and say, you can't do this. I don't think you should do this. She may give you an opinion on something. Don't ask her about technology because that ain't gonna work. But that's okay. We ain't mad at her for that. Most parents coming up out of that time didn't deal with computers and cell phones and iPads and all that stuff. And the thing about it is, growing up, I learned a lot from my mom and from my grandparents and my brother that I use now in my 42 years of age. Do I realize that I'm 42? I do, but it doesn't seem like it because time. The older you get, the faster it goes, and you look up and you go, God, I'm 42. Where did 30 go? My mom's a little older than that. She'll look up and say, I'm this age. Where did that time go? You've got to take the time that you have now, and you've got to take the now that you have and apply it to your life. If you need glasses, get them. Go to the doctor, get fitted, stop worrying about how you're going to look or what people are going to think or how you're going to feel. If they make you see better, get them. If you're losing your hearing and you're having problems, go get fitted for hearing aids. There are different people in this world that need different things. You've got to get what makes you better to do your job in everyday life. And your job is going to be different. Siobhan, thank you for this. Have a good night, beautiful people. Great show, DJ. I'm proud of you. Your mother did an awesome, great job. Thank you. And that in a nutshell is who Siobhan is. Siobhan is a motivator. Siobhan is a person to push a person to the next level. Sometimes she pushes a little hard, and you got to be ready to skyrocket to the next level because she'll get there a little faster than you're used to. But that's okay. You still got to go with it because that's the type of person she is. Sometimes the ride takes you on this, I don't want to go to this level because I don't like this, the way this makes me look, the way this makes me feel. Then talk to your doctor about it and look at a different outcome. There are plenty of different outcomes. As I take the last couple of minutes of the show, I do want to thank everybody for being here and thank everybody for watching. And I want to say this: value yourself and know your worth. Know that you are important to those around you. And don't be thinking that you don't deserve to be here, because you do. You're a person just like everybody else, and you have a life that should be valued. You have a life that is important. You should be the person that you're going to be at the best of your ability. Remember this: life is not a race. It's not how fast you do something, it's how well you do it and what you achieve in the greatness of life. You show me a man that resorts to violence, and I'll show you a man that's run out of good ideas. I want to use this quote: it's not how often you win the race, but how often you cross the finish line, but when you start to do something. And that is the difference in my life, and that's kind of where I am. I'm the person that hey Adam, how you doing? As I try to go through life and I try to do things the right way, it's not how fast I finish, and it's not about the time that I finish in. Just like with martial arts, it's not about how many tournaments I compete in and how many tournaments I win. It's how many tournaments I learn something from, and what can I do to better myself. You as well, Adam. And I tell you, I look at an individual that says, I want to do this, or I want to go here, or I want to give this a try. And then you see someone else discourage them and say, you shouldn't do this because it's not for you. If you want to try something for the first time, don't let someone discourage you and say, you shouldn't do this because, okay? You have a life too, just like everybody else. You have a chance to, just like everybody else. And if you want to do something on your bucket list that someone tells you you shouldn't do, go for it. But take the safety precautions that you need to take and think about what you're going to do. Adam said this: you are appreciated is one of the smallest yet, let's see, being told you are appreciated is one of the simplest yet incredible things you can ever hear. Life is hard enough as it is, so please be kind to people. There once was a time when, let's see, there once when it was a time when the living was easier and the people were warmer. So go hug someone and make their day. You know, it's amazing to you draw a lot more with kindness than you do with anything else. And the things that I see in this life, and the things that I've learned from, is that you're going to get along better with somebody if you're honest and truthful with them and do what you can for them. It's not about finishing the race for them. It's about being part of them and understanding that they have lives too. And if you're part of the race that they're in and you're encouraging to them, it gives them something to hope for and something to look into. But I don't like using the word hope, because to me, hope is a beggar. I hope I get that car. I hope I get that house. I hope I get that job promotion. I like having faith in saying, I'm going to get that car. I'm going to get that job. I'm going to get that promotion, because you look at it and it is what it is, but it's still there. And if you go for it with faith instead of hope, you're going to go get it faster and know that it's there for you. Don't pray for an easy life, for the strength to endure a difficult one. Bruce Lee, great quote, Kayla. That is, but pray for the strength to endure. That is awesome. I have to tell you guys, I really enjoyed doing this show. I know I was a little late today, and I apologize for being late. But to all of those viewers that have popped on and off today and actually been on the show the entire time, I really want to just take a moment and reach out to those who have actually reached out to me to be on the show. I do know that a lot of you have emailed me and when can I get on, and some of my repeat guests want to come back. I am looking at branching out and doing some new things, so I'll get into that possibly in the later to next shows. If you'd like to be a guest on the show, don't be afraid to email me at mycpdoesnotdefine@yahoo.com. Please list your name and a short bio. I mean a short bio, 3 to 5 sentences about yourself, If you'd like for me to interview you on a Sunday, we could do that. I interview on Sundays and then prepare for my show on Wednesday. Just because you email me doesn't mean you're automatically going to be on the show. So just know that I am going to get to you. I have some emails in backlog right now. Kayla's been asking to get on again, and I know she wants to as well. So can I put that on the screen, please? What is that? The email for the show? Let me do that for you. Actually, it won't let me. It won't let me type into the comments because I'm on my Facebook profile. But what I will do is I will say it again. The email to email me to be on the show is mycp does not define DEFINE me at yahoo.com. You can see the way to spell that in my YouTube channel. My CP does not define me as well. And again, that is at yahoo.com. Yeah, I got some people that I have some people that write books, and I really don't want to read a book. But if you want to write a paragraph, that's okay. But I don't want to go much more than that because I want to talk to you about your story. Thank you, Christina. My secretary is there for me again. My CP does not define me at yahoo.com. Again, thank you guys for being part of the show today. Christina, I love you so much. Thank you. And all of my guests today and my commenters and Siobhan. My mom's been down for nearly 2 weeks, and that time is drawing to a close. So we're going to take the next couple of days and try to enjoy that together. I will say this, what I would like, if a couple of folks, and maybe my secretary can jot this down as well. I'm looking for some show topics. I have been doing this show now. This is my 147th episode of My CP Does Not Define Me, and I'm looking for show topics that I've never done before that I don't want to have to come up with by myself. So I'd like to get together with a couple of people and try to come up with some topics. I'll probably end up. I know I can get a hold of Adam. I know I can get a hold of Siobhan and Christina, and Kayla as well for some topics maybe that I haven't broached yet. And again, I'm looking for new guests to be on the show that would like to be on the show for the first time. And we're gonna do that. So I'm probably gonna get together with my CP group next Friday, and I'm probably gonna get together with my secretary and my board members for the show that have been on the show before several times, and have a meeting about maybe Christina. I may actually call you tonight after I get off of the air if you're available, and I may just jot a couple down. But if you guys have some for me that you'd like, thank you. Message me and I'll put those in. I'll see about. I will put those in. Guys, thank you for being part of the show. Thank you for supporting me. If you haven't, please remember to go to My CP Does Not Define Me and subscribe on YouTube. And please hit that notification bell so that you get all the videos that come up. And the more comments I get, I will make sure to try to childhood. Yeah, I again, that's a great one there. I've kind of covered that, but it's been a long time since I've done it. So again, I can do that, but just email them to me, and I'm going to I'll get with you, some guys on that and do some new show topics. But that's going to be it for today. As I always say, if you can't be good, be bad, but be good at it. This is D to the J with a roll away, saying thank you so much for tuning in to episode 147 of My CP Does Not Define Me. They are all up on YouTube. I've gotten all my backlogs up, and I will get this one up as well. Thank you guys again for tuning into the show, and we'll see you next week. Like I said, if you can't be good, be bad, but be good at it. This is D to the J with a roll away, saying we'll see you next Wednesday at 7 p.m. for episode 148 of My CP Does Not Define Me.
All right, everybody. that's going to do it for this week's episode of My CP Does Not Define Me. As always, you can catch us every Wednesday at 7 p.m. Eastern Time, live on the Disability Global Broadcast, Facebook Live, and on www.letgoradio.net. Also, if you haven't already checked out our YouTube channel, My CP Does Not Define Me, where we post all of our show's episodes in our My CP playlist. As always, I'm your host, D to the J with the roll away. If you can't be good, be bad, but be good at it. We'll see you next week.
Bye-bye, everybody. Take care. And Kayla, I will get back with you on that as well. We'll talk about that. Thank you, Adam, for being there too. Okay, have a great day, guys. Take care.